Okay, here we're going to look at two functions, the sine and sine here. We're going to add them together. We're going to use complex numbers to do this. So we're going to follow these 5 steps to do it. So first of all, we're going to write the imaginary part here of sine x. So it's just the imaginary part, and I'm putting it into polar form. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with this. The imaginary part is 3e theta I e pi over 3i. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add together those two forms. So we're going to do this one, add this one, but just the imaginary parts. So this, add this. We can factorize because they've both got an e theta I in them, e theta I. So I'm going to take that out as a factor, a common factor, 1, and this leaves 3 and the e pi over 3i. Now this part, this bracket here, I can type it into my calculator and I get that. Now, all I need to do is be in complex mode on my calculator and literally type that in, and it will pump out that. So what this actually means is that I can draw this on an Argand diagram. So it's going to look something like this, obviously not to scale. And here we've got 5 over 2. And this line here is 3 root 3 over 2. And the angle in here, I'm just going to call this the argument here. I can work all of those out now. So the modulus is root 13. That's this one squared plus this one squared. And that comes to root 13. And the argument, I just did the tan of this one divided by this one, shift tan of those two. So that, just go over that bit again, because it's probably the most complicated bit of all. Type that into my calculator, gives me this. I can draw it out and I can think about how I work out the modulus and the argument. Now, from there, let's go back to this bit here. So we've got e I theta, and in the bracket, I've now replaced it with modulus and argument form, and turning that into a polar, Euler form rather. This is the polar form. The Euler form here, so the modulus and then the argument. And now we're going to multiply these two together. So when we multiply them together, we get the 13, the root 13 coming out, and we can just add these two numbers together. And then turning it back into a form like we want here, we end up with this. So let's just double check. If we try and add these two together, which we can do on a graph, and then we just type this into the same graph, have we got the same thing? So just this, and I've already got them typed out here. So there's the first one. If I turn this on, it's there in red. If I turn this one on, I've got the same thing, 13 square rooted up here. Let's go back in, and there are all the steps. Pause, have a look at it, go through it again,